even though the calendar tells us that December is ending, even though the days are slipping through our fingers like sand, you need to hear this truth today. God is not finished with you. Just because a year is closing, just because the month is almost over, does not mean that God has stopped working. Sometimes we measure time in months and years, but God measures time in moments, in purpose, in divine appointments. He is still orchestrating, still arranging, still moving things in your life that you cannot yet see. What you may think is a delay is actually preparation. What you may see as a setback is actually the quiet work of God setting you up for a miracle that will exceed your imagination. Do not allow the closing of this year to deceive you into thinking that God's plan has ended. He is still working, still writing, still aligning, and still bringing things into position for your breakthrough. Perhaps you have been praying for doors to open, for relationships to be restored, for finances to come, or for peace to settle in your heart. Perhaps you have been disappointed, frustrated, or even discouraged because the results have not come yet. Listen carefully, that does not mean God has forgotten you. That does not mean his favor has left you. He is still at work. Sometimes the most powerful miracles happen in the silence, in the waiting, in the moments when you cannot see with your eyes, but must trust with your heart. God is still moving in your life in ways that are unseen, in ways that are far greater than you could orchestrate on your own. This is a season to understand that God's timing is perfect. What may seem late to you is not late to him. What may seem small or delayed is part of a larger plan that only he can see in its entirety. While you are doubting, while you are wondering, while you are asking, God is already moving, arranging, and preparing. He is not done with your story. The challenges you faced this year were not to break you, they were to build you. The setbacks you experienced were not to stop you, they were to position you. Every disappointment, every moment of waiting, every closed door is actually part of God's ongoing work in your life, shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what is coming. So do not lose heart just because the December is ending. Do not measure God's work by the limitations of a calendar or the circumstances that surround you. His plans are bigger, his timing is longer, and his vision is wider than anything you can comprehend. The blessings, breakthroughs, and victories that you have been longing for are still in motion. God is still at work, moving pieces you cannot see, aligning people you have not met, and opening doors you did not know existed. You may not see it yet, but God is not finished. He has not given up on you. He is still in control. He is still faithful. He is still powerful. And he is still moving. There are moments in life when the weight of disappointment presses so heavily upon your shoulders that you feel like giving up is the only option. You've prayed, you've tried, you've worked, and yet the breakthrough you've been waiting for has not come. Some of you are standing at the edge of surrender, ready to walk away from your dreams, your vision, your purpose. But I am here to tell you today, you cannot quit now. Not when God is still at work, not when the pieces of your life are still being arranged, not when your destiny is still unfolding. Refusing to quit is more than a decision. It is an act of faith. It is saying, I will not allow my past failures to dictate my future. I will not allow my setbacks to define me. I will not allow discouragement to steal my hope. There is power in perseverance, even when circumstances scream defeat. Every great story in the Bible, every testimony of victory, every life that overcame the impossible reached that place because someone refused to give up. Joseph did not quit in prison. Moses did not quit in the desert. David did not quit while running from a king who wanted to kill him. And you, beloved, cannot quit when your miracle is on the horizon. Refusing to quit means rising one more time when you have been knocked down. It means speaking life over your situation when everyone around you sees only darkness. It means continuing to sow seeds of faith even when the soil seems dry, even when the storms come, even when the harvest has not yet appeared. There is a spiritual principle at work. God rewards endurance. God honors those who remain faithful when the world expects them to fail. God strengthens those who stand firm when the pressures of life try to bend them. You must understand that quitting is easy, but victory requires effort. Giving up costs you your dreams, your destiny, and your God-given purpose. But staying, even when it hurts, even when it feels impossible, positions you to receive what God has been preparing all along. Refusing to quit is not a guarantee that life will be easy, but it is a guarantee that you will see God's hand in ways that cannot be replicated by giving up. Every struggle, every delay, every trial is a setup for a greater testimony. And the moment you decide to stand, to fight, to persevere, God shows up in ways that make all the pain worthwhile. So when the pressure is on, when your faith feels small, when your heart wants to walk away, remember this: quitting is temporary, but what God has for you is eternal. Refuse to quit because the very thing you think has passed you by may be just around the corner. Refuse to quit because the end of your struggle could be the beginning of your greatest victory. Refuse to quit because God is still orchestrating, still moving, still working on your behalf. And every step you take in faith, every moment you resist surrender, brings you closer to the fulfillment of what God has promised you. Life has a way of testing our hope. It has a way of presenting challenges, disappointments, and losses that threaten to crush our spirit. Some of you have been carrying heavy burdens all year: broken relationships, lost opportunities, unanswered prayers, financial struggles, or health challenges, and it feels as if hope is slipping through your fingers. You may be tempted to say, it's too late. God has forgotten me. There is nothing left for me. But I am here to tell you today, hope is not lost. Even when circumstances look bleak, even when the night feels unending, God is still in control, and He is still working on your behalf. Hope is a powerful force. It is not wishful thinking. It is not a fleeting emotion. Hope is a confident expectation that God is able to turn your situation around, that He can restore what has been broken, and that He can bring life from the dead places in your heart. Despair wants you to focus on what is gone, what has failed, and what cannot be fixed. Hope refuses to be dictated by circumstance. Hope looks beyond the present pain to the promise of God's goodness. Hope believes that no matter how dark the season, light is coming. There is a spiritual principle here. Despair focuses on what is, while hope focuses on what can be. Despair sees obstacle. Hope sees opportunities. Despair cries, I cannot do this. Hope declares, I am not alone, and God is able. When you embrace hope over despair, you are choosing to align yourself with God's perspective rather than the world's. You are saying, even if I cannot see it yet, I believe God is at work. Even if I cannot understand it, I trust that his timing is perfect. Even if my heart is heavy, I will not allow it to stop me from believing that good is coming. Hope over despair is also a decision to continue moving forward. It is the choice to get up when you have been knocked down, to keep praying when answers seem delayed, to keep believing when faith feels tested. It is the refusal to allow temporary setbacks to define the trajectory of your life. When you hold on to hope, you are planting seeds for your future. You are building resilience. You are positioning yourself to receive God's blessings at the perfect time. Some of you need to hear this today. Your situation is not hopeless. The relationships that seem broken can be restored. The dreams that seem dead can be revived. The blessings that seem lost are still on their way. Despair may want to whisper lies, but hope shouts the truth. God is faithful, God is working, and God has not forgotten you. Even in the darkest moments, even when the road is long and weary, choose hope, choose to believe, choose to trust. And as you do, you will see God's hand turn what looked like failure into triumph, what looked like loss into abundance, and what looked like the end into a new beginning. As December comes to a close, it is easy to focus only on what did not happen this year, on the doors that remained closed, on the dreams that seemed delayed, and on the moments of disappointment. But God wants you to understand that every ending is actually a setup for a new beginning. This is a season of preparation, even if it does not feel like it. The challenges you faced, the struggles you endured, and the delays you experienced were not meant to defeat you. They were meant to prepare you. God uses every moment, every trial, and every setback to shape you for the season ahead. He is equipping you for greater responsibility, greater influence, and greater blessing than you have ever known. Preparation often feels uncomfortable. It often requires patience, endurance, and faith. Sometimes it comes in the form of waiting. Sometimes it comes in the form of learning difficult lessons. Sometimes it comes in the form of pruning, where God removes distractions, negative influences, or unhealthy habits from your life to make room for what he has planned. Just because you are in the preparation stage does not mean God has forgotten you. On the contrary, it means he is investing deeply in your future, laying foundations that will support long-lasting success and blessing. Many people do not understand preparation. They see waiting as wasted time. They see struggle as failure. But God measures time differently. He knows exactly what you need and when you need it. The closed doors of today may be the protection that preserves your destiny. The challenges you face may be the strength you need to sustain you when the breakthrough arrives. The delays may be God's perfect timing to align people, resources, and opportunities in ways that you cannot yet comprehend. When you trust God during preparation, you are aligning yourself with his purpose And you are creating a launch pad for a new season that will exceed your expectations. Preparation also requires faith in action. It is not passive waiting, it is active trust. It is continuing to work, continue to pray, continue to believe, and continue to sow seeds even when results are not immediately visible. It is taking steps toward the promises of God with confidence that He is already working behind the scenes. You may not see the full picture yet, but God sees it. You may not feel ready, but He is making you ready. You may not know how it will happen, but He is orchestrating every detail to bring it to pass. So as December ends, remember that God is not just closing a chapter. He is preparing you for a new season, a season of opportunities, favor, and breakthroughs awaits you. Every struggle, every disappointment, and every moment of waiting has a purpose. The next season of your life will require all that you have learned, all that you have endured, and all that you have overcome. And when the doors of the new season open, you will walk through them fully equipped, fully ready, and fully victorious because God has been preparing you for what is coming. Faith is not passive. Faith is not something you sit on and wait for miracles to fall into your lap. Faith is action. Faith is movement. Faith is the decision to keep stepping forward, even when the road is unclear, even when the circumstances are heavy, and even when the world tells you it's impossible. To live a life of blessing, to walk in God's promises, and to see breakthroughs manifest, you must embrace active faith. It is not enough to believe in your heart. Your belief must be accompanied by obedience, persistence, and courage. Active faith is faith that refuses to sit back, faith that refuses to be silent, faith that refuses to be still when God has called you to move. Many of us fail to experience the fullness of God's blessings because we confuse faith with wishful thinking. We think that praying a few words, hoping for a miracle, or expecting God to act while we do nothing is enough. But true faith requires action. It requires you to step out of fear and into trust, to move toward the promises God has spoken over your life, even when the path is uncertain. When God tells you to forgive, forgive. When God tells you to give, give. When God tells you to step out, step out. Each act of obedience, each step of courage, each moment of trust is faith in motion, and God honors that faith by bringing results beyond your imagination. Active faith also requires consistency. It is easy to have faith when things are going well, when the sun is shining, and when hope seems tangible. But God is looking for those who will remain faithful when the storms come, when the rain falls, and when the nights are long. It is in those moments that active faith shines the brightest. It is in those moments that God sees your commitment, your determination, and your trust in Him, your perseverance, your refusal to give up. Your willingness to continue sowing seeds of belief and hope, even when results are not immediate, demonstrates a faith that is alive, powerful, and unstoppable. Active faith also means speaking life over your circumstances. It means declaring God's promises out loud, not allowing negativity, doubt, or fear to control your words. Your words have power. Your declarations of faith can shift situations, influence outcomes, and align your spirit with the will of God. When you combine belief with action and speak life over your circumstances, You create an environment where miracles can happen. So do not wait passively for blessings to appear. Do not sit idly while waiting for God to act. Step out in faith. Pray, believe, act, and trust. Sow seeds of generosity, kindness, and perseverance. Take the next step, even if it is small. Show up when it is inconvenient. Speak words of faith when doubt is loud. Do these things, and God will honor your faith. The promises He has placed in your life are already on their way, but they require your participation. Active faith moves heaven to action. It positions you to receive. It opens doors. It brings miracles. It turns hope into reality. No matter what this year has looked like, no matter how many battles you have fought, no matter how many times you have felt weary or defeated, there is a truth you need to embrace today. Victory and overflow await you. God has not forgotten your struggles, your dreams, or your prayers. He is preparing a season of abundance, a season of triumph, a season where the seeds you have sown in faith will blossom into blessings you cannot contain. You may have felt limited, delayed, or restrained, but God's plan has never been about limitation. It has always been about overflowing. Victory is not just about surviving. Victory is about triumphing over circumstances, rising above challenges, and seeing God's hand turn impossibilities into possibilities. The obstacles that seemed insurmountable, the storms that seemed relentless, and the disappointments that seemed permanent are all part of the story that will make your victory even sweeter. God allows trials not to destroy you, but to refine you. He allows struggles not to defeat you, but to prepare you for the fullness of His blessing. And when you finally step into the victory He has prepared, you will realize that every difficulty, every delay, and every tear was part of the process to bring you to a place of abundance and overflow. Overflow is the natural result of victory. It is more than just having enough. It is having more than you could ask for or imagine. It is blessing that exceeds expectation, favor that surpasses limitation, and joy that cannot be contained. Overflow is not just for you. It is meant to touch others, to inspire others, and to be a testimony that God is faithful. When you experience overflow, it is a sign that God's hand has been at work all along. The years of struggle, the seasons of waiting, the moments of doubt, they all lead to this moment of triumph, this moment where God's power is fully displayed in your life. But in order to walk into this victory and an overflow, you must position yourself, you must remain faithful, continue to trust, and keep believing. Victory does not come to those who give up at the last moment. Overflow does not come to those who stop sowing seeds of faith when the harvest is delayed. You must stay in the fight. You must stay in prayer. You must continue to move in obedience even when results are not visible. God honors endurance. God rewards those who refuse to quit. God blesses those who keep their hearts aligned with His promises. So as December ends, remember this: the year may be closing, but your breakthrough is opening. The doors you thought were shut are about to swing wide. The blessings you longed for are on their way. Your victory is ready and your overflow is coming. God has not given up on you, and He has not finished with you. Stand firm in faith, speak life over your circumstances, and anticipate the abundance that is already on its way. When you do you will see the goodness of God manifest in ways that will leave you amazed, renewed, and overflowing with gratitude.